Somewhere beyond the recesses of time and space, two podcasters are set adrift in a machine, picking up transmissions of movies that are forgotten but not gone.
You know, what made me really mad in this movie, like what really steamed my beans, is they've got a scene early on with mom and dad in the bedroom together after the kids have gone to sleep, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is going to be like the scene in the original one where they're smoking a joint and he's reading the Reagan book and they're just being all loose and cool and lovey-dovey together, and it's just like this unvarnished moment of their relationship. Mom and dad hanging out together, and Sam Rockwell then pulls out a bottle of whiskey and 2 coffee cups.
Mm-hmm. That's how you know they're poor.
Because no, they couldn't be smoking weed. That would give people the wrong idea. Like, it's just like, I don't know why it made me so angry. I'm not like, I think I'd like to think that it's separate from the fact that I myself enjoy marijuana, but I think it's like two suburban parents in the 80s smoking joints together. That's a very specific type of of parent, and I feel like that still is true. The parents who are like sneakily doing an illicit drug, like, and trying to hide it in their room, that says a lot more.
They weren't even really trying to hide it that much, though.
They weren't. No, I mean, and certainly the kids could smell it. I mean, you're chiefing in your own bedroom, but in this, it's just like there is nothing like illicit or kind of cheeky and fun about drinking a little like wild turkey out of a coffee cup at 9:30 p.m. Like, that's not. Yeah. You just talk about filing an edge off of a movie. Like, they can't even be doing the drug that was legal in like 6 states at the time that they made this movie. I'm just mad.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We're not talking about the original, though. Worth just a quick footnote to that scene in the original. He gets up and starts dancing on the bed, and I can't help but think of all the wasted pot leaves that are floating around and bouncing around that he didn't get into the papers that he was licking.
Yeah, and I can't help but think about just like how many joint burns are there on that bedspread? Like, you're like, she's got so much ash hanging off the end of that joint she's smoking, and she's talking and gesturing with it like you were. And I love that about them, that they're not uptight about their duvet cover in the way that I would be.
Here's one thing that, well, okay, so a big difference between these two is that in the original, Craig T. Nelson works for the development company that built the house, and they're living in the first that was built, and they're, kind of living by example, and like, I've been living here forever. I'm not only selling you your house, I'm also your neighbor.
Yeah, he's Michael Bluth living in the model house, basically.
Yeah. But there's so much like hay made out of this closet.
Yeah.
And there's trepidation around it. There's a moment between the kids where Maddie is touching the doorknob and her hair is being lifted by static, and she tells Griffin to do it, and Griffin does it, and his hair stands up.
I kind of like that moment.
But at no point do we ever see anything inside the closet.
No.
Why? Like, I don't know. Like, I would think, having gone through the home buying process in the last 5 years, when I bought this place.
Yeah.
3.5 years ago. 3 years ago.
Did you touch all the closet doorknobs to see if it made your hair stand up?
You open everything. You would not buy a house site without checking the inside of the closet. You just wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. Just because one doorknob falls off of one side of the closet door doesn't mean you wouldn't try the other side of the doorknob. And if that closet didn't open, you'd be like, hey, real estate person, why isn't this fucking closet door opening? What are they hiding in there? You would find a trove of evil-looking clowns just in the walkthrough.
I mean, I do love that the real estate agent is like, oh yeah, that door's probably stuck because it was raining recently. It's like, wow, you're really just going ham on the fact that this house is not insulated well and has a lot of old wood in it.
If you got a real estate agent worth their salt, like, you've got your checklist. You check the faucets, you check for moisture in the basement, and you check the closets for portals to other dimensions.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want, and you check for squirrels in the attic, and you check for gigantic pools of tar in your garage laundry room.
So that's we never got into that in the main episode of, like, the whole thing of the first movie is, like, it was built, you moved the headstones, but you didn't move the bodies, and so then all the bodies start coming back for their vengeance. And I'm still confused for the first film, even, like, are the ghosts related? Are they the bodies of the, like, the whole thing doesn't quite make sense to me. But
I agree with you. It's sort of messy, but again, it's like when you do it all, when everything else works, you kind of just don't think about it. It's like, I don't know, it's fucking bodies, I guess. Like, I guess those bodies were really mad about their headstones getting moved.
But in this one, like, are they hallucinations? So we didn't really go into, like, the big sequence where the parents go to dinner. Also, who the fuck are they having dinner with?
I don't know. They just moved to town. They know nobody else. Who are these people who they're at this fancy dinner party?
There's some, you were talking about the bourbon scene or the whiskey scene, and they're like, well, at least we're going to have dinner tomorrow. And she's like, oh, I hate these things. But at no time do they say who it's with. Who it's with, what it's for, what it's celebrating. How, like, is it a welcome committee? They're clearly affluent. They're clearly poor. Is it like a job connection? Is it like, hey, let's talk about job prospects, come on over? Like, there's no distinction over who these characters are at all.
No, we see them once, and that scene only exists for them to basically, like, these snooty other people to be like, oh, your house is bought where that cemetery used to be, which is both a wild thing to tell someone at a dinner party and also the worst possible way to convey very plot relevant information is to literally have someone tell it to you instead of showing it.
I was wondering what your reaction was going to be to the wife of the guy, which is, it's clearly drawing those distinctions of, like, the man is sitting at the head of the table and the woman is serving everyone. But she goes, when he says that the cemetery's been moved to another neighborhood, the wife says, but don't worry, though, it's been moved to a nicer neighborhood so that the families, visiting them won't have to worry. The families don't have to worry as much because the cemetery got moved to a nicer neighborhood. And she's like, oop, sorry.
Yeah. What is that, like the same?
So what's that say? Like, they live in a place worse than a cemetery?
Yeah,
I don't quite get what she was insinuating.
Yeah, their neighborhood does not look that bad.
This is a massive point of order for this movie, where they have to give up one house to move into another house, but the house they're moving to is in the suburbs. It's a presumably 3 or 4 room house. No one is sharing a room with each other.
The rich family in the original movie, they got 2 kids doubling up. This house, they've got a room for every kid.
And granted, there's a joke made that Griffin is going to have to sleep in the attic, but the attic's been converted into a bedroom. So, like, this is like the richest poorhouse.
What? And
the power lines are the only thing that is pointed to as, like, this is not a desirable neighborhood.
Yeah, that and the fact that it's built on dead bodies. I think that
yes.
I do also question the logic of the room assignments, where it's like, okay, our son, who is famously skittish and scared of everything, we're going to put him on the top floor. Why not our 16-year-old daughter, who wants her space, who wants to be as far from us as possible? Why not give her the top floor?
She was adamant about not wanting it. She's like, oh, God, that doesn't look like a room. It looks like more like an attic. Gross. She says that to Griffin as she's coming downstairs at one point. It doesn't make any sense, but, at least in the movie, the character herself says, I don't want it.
Yeah, sure. Just like in the movie, they say, no, we can't call the cops about our daughter who just disappeared in the scary new neighborhood we're in, because they might blame us for her disappearing. It is wacky movie logic. It's also interesting that they never, like, at one point one of the kids says, "I miss our old house," or "I don't like this as much as our old house," and Rosemarie DeWitt says, "Yeah, well, that's not an option anymore." Like, what happened to their old house? Did poltergeists blow that one up too?
They just don't remember. They started this exact series of events and they don't remember it.
They just I love the idea that they just, by virtue of sheer bad luck, are moving from burial ground to burial ground. It's like, oh yeah, well, first was the Navajo burial ground, then it was the Hopi burial ground, then that was just a cemetery that they moved the headstones but not the bodies. Then it was the toxic waste dump, that was the zombies. Then we relocated to Scotland, but we were on the moors and it was a full moon, and you all know how that turned out.
Oh my god. Yeah, they do at that dinner, like, one of the most eye-rolly moments. The man of the table, again, doesn't make... He's not given any character, so I don't know how to describe him otherwise.
Man of the Table is my favorite cooking show. Go on.
He's like, yeah, they moved the cemetery, and you know, they moved it to another neighborhood, but it's not like it was built on an Indian burial ground, right? Everyone, are we winking at the camera?
Yeah. Because there's a line like that in the original where he's talking to his boss and he's saying something about, like, oh, it wasn't an ancient burial ground or anything, it was just people, and like, that is a loaded line. Like, there is a lot
yes, it is.
writing on that, and I don't think that was, you know, obviously there's subtext galore there. So yeah, it's weird to see the exact lines from before that are kind of delivered in such a memorable and pivotal way be brought back here in, you know, 4 people in a kind of dimly lit dining room eating some salmon puree or something. Probably not salmon puree. That actually sounds like cat food.
I mean, I can go down and see what Bela has for offer in their canned food department.
I mean, listen, maybe their friends are also, like, recently laid off. Everybody's super poor. They're just eating cat food in their foreclosed upon homes.
Bela, are you eating salmon puree? Come here, baby.
Bela, is your litter box built on an old cemetery? Did they? It was a pet cemetery.
Oh my goodness! Our third co-host just doesn't want any part of this.
Our third co-ghost, perhaps.
Ooh, interesting.
Not that interesting.
Invite a co-ghost here.
Yeah.
Okay, there is one other thing I got to talk about. At the very end of last week, we said congratulations to us for not talking about practical versus CGI, and I don't want to have that argument, but I do want to point out that the effects of, like, the hands coming on the TV screen.
Yeah. And
there's a moment that, again, just doesn't make sense in terms of the logic of what the fuck's happening, where they see her shadow running in the house, but she's in the dimension world. It doesn't make any sense at all. They're so bad that they look like what you would see if you went to a haunted attraction.
Yes.
Like, the hands coming up on the screen, I feel like I've seen that exact same thing when I went to, like, a haunted hayride a couple of years ago.
It definitely does.
When I'm waiting in line, and they're like, "You better beware, the ghosts are coming to get you!"
Yeah,
and, like,
exactly.
All these hands are plopping on the window.
Yeah, the movie may as well just hold up a bowl full of grapes and tell you that it's a witch's eyes or something like that.
Yeah. It's just, they were... I mean, I think CGI effects can be great as a tool. You know, anything relied on too heavily, even practical effects, is not good. But this was so poorly realized.
And even if it was realized perfectly, I just don't know how much we get from seeing hands inside the TV pushing out.
Yeah.
Like, I think what's creepier is a little girl staring intently at a static TV
Let
and
our
being
imaginations.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is she seeing in there? What am I gonna see? I don't need to actually see a thing, because then also you lose the tension of, oh, is this just a little girl being weird, or is some spooky shit actually going to go down?
I mean, and also just white noise, both visually and audibly, are kind of scary. I have a weird thing. So you talked a little bit on the main show about seeing shadow people and stuff, and I have that to a degree, not night terrors like you do, but
Yeah, well, I'm just built different.
I have exploding head syndrome, and I think while it is different than hearing stuff in white noise, I do think there's some connection to it. I'm not an expert, but like when I'm falling asleep, a good portion of the time something will wake me up. Often it's voices, lots of times it's loud bangs and noise, explosion type sounds. But I have a fan when you turn the light on in my bathroom.
Yeah.
And whenever, like at nighttime, I turn that on, there's no other noise around except that, I hear, maybe it's just my PTSD from like my LA years, but like I hear music being played, and I'm like, my motherfucking neighbor is playing music at 11 p.m. Are you fucking kidding me? And then I turn it off, and I'm like, there's no one's playing anything. Having it, being able to like, I don't know, there's something creepier about living in the weirdness of it rather than like, isn't this weird? Let us play some music underneath this white noise.
Yeah. Are you afraid that maybe that the Ghost World haunted version of your house has like some really noisy occupants who are super rowdy? So like even in a detached home, you're never fully away from
which
from
I'm not in a
loud neighbors.
detached home. I'm in a townhouse situation, but
I was trying to preserve some mystery for the audience, but go on.
That would be awful if I moved into a no shared walls situation, and late at night, just like my specific hell ghosts are like watching the Fast and the Furious movies at 5 a.m. Through their amped out theater system, the home theater system. Yeah, that would be stressful for me.
Well, much like Poltergeist, the Fast and the Furious movies are all about family, so the connections abound.
I have to mention this. There's not a lot of meal to be made of this, but just something I noticed. It's one of these things that, like, you see, I'm sure there are a million examples, and you never think about it, so you can't pull them out of the air. But just like, we need to get through this moment. It's usually like a shot in a series of shots or a montage. When they're, and it's just like, we need a solution on the day to get this thing, context, the audience just needs to see it in a shot.
Yeah.
And we talked very briefly about how they tie the rope from the bedroom, go into the portal. The portal opens back up in the living room going down, and they bring this rope through, and that's how they're going to bring Maddie out of the dimension world. And they do that in the original as well.
Yeah.
So this rope, they chain to the wall and throw it into the portal. But while they're getting ready, it's a series of shots, this like almost montage, and there's just a quick shot of Jared Harris, like a medicine bag, opens it up, and inside this medicine bag is a rope.
Just a bag full of rope.
Seriously, like, is it a special rope? Why can't you just bring rope into the room? Why does the rope need to be in a bag?
It's part of the rope's contract. The rope needs a chauffeur. It needs a trailer. The rope doesn't even come out of its bag for less than $2,500 a day. I'm wondering, like, Jared Harris gets out of a cab arriving at the house, which is also much like The Exorcist, where the priest gets out of a cab. In both cases, I'm like, okay, so priest doesn't have a car. Okay, fine. Okay. And like in this case, it's like, so wait, he didn't rent a car? Okay. And then also it's like,
is he not Ubering?
He's not Ubering. And also, did he then come on a plane and was the rope in his checked bag? Did that go through security? And they're like, sir, you have a rope and a bunch of GPS trackers in your bag. What? WTF?
He does talk about his like globetrotting exploits. Maybe he has like hidden caches of exorcism materials stashed around different cities.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a safety deposit box or something, and you open it up, and it's just like 4 ropes. Just that's exorcism is mainly just about having access to a lot of rope.
Like, okay, why does he have this rope? I mean, like, You'd have to know that you need to throw a rope. What? Okay, outside of this specific scenario, what do you use a rope in an exorcism for?
It really seems like a lucky guess, unless this shit happens all the time. Unless there's always a portal
It's a dimension rope.
Yeah, it's just this is just, you know, you can always count on needing a rope, like you always are going to need gloves if you're like a gardener or something like that.
Oh my god, that fucking rope really made me laugh.
It would be really funny though if we go with the Jared Harris is terrible at his job idea and do a spin-off where he just like he's at some other exorcism and it's like, you know, okay, well she's her bed is swirling around in circles and it's like, okay, what if we tie a rope to the bed? No, that's not going to do anything. What if we throw a rope to her and pull her off the bed? No, what's going to happen with that? I don't know. Is there a way that rope can do it? Because, like, I only have rope.
I can see the gags already. Just, like, she floats off the bed and just, like, is levitating. She's lassoed, basically.
Yeah.
But, like, she can't float above 5 feet because the rope is holding her. But she's still floating.
And Jared Harris just dusting off his hands. It's like, well, I lassoed her. This house is clean. I don't know what else you want. For every ghost, there is a rope-oriented solution. That is the Jared Harris promise.
Oh my god. Should we play the trailer game and put this to bed?
I would rather make another 30 minutes of rope jokes, but alas.
All right.
Okay.
So let's play the trailer game in which Truman and I watch the trailer with all of you. Neither of us have watched it yet, and we're gonna try to guess a few things that might be in the trailer based on the movie that we watched. How they market this thing. What do they pull out of this to hook audiences to get them in the seats and presumably
to rope them in.
Is it entirely name recognition that's getting that $95 million, or do you think there's something? Do you think this trailer? You were impressed by the Operation Fortune Ruse de Guerre trailer.
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to end up being like compelling trailer?
I feel like I'm so seldom compelled by horror movie trailers. I can't make that determination. Like, I think this is probably going to look like every other horror movie trailer does.
Okay.
I've been struggling with this because, like, I've got one moment that I feel pretty certain will be in the trailer, but I'm having a very hard time remembering details of this movie I watched yesterday. So right. I'm gonna lean on you for more guesses about what we're gonna see here.
Okay, I've got 4 things here. One of them I think is just kind of a given, but I think we can cobble something together.
Okay. Well, I feel certain we're going to see Griffin walking down the stairs into the room where his sister is sitting in front of the staticky TV with the lights strobing.
Yeah. My kind of given was they're here line. That's that moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but like that, you know, we'll put that in because there's not a lot of memorable lines in this movie, so...
True. But no, I think you're right in terms of building out the moment. You can't just have them say they're here. Griffin walking down. Yeah, I think that entire sequence is probably going to be there.
Perfect. Okay, what else you got?
I think the flip side of that, when she gets sucked in, you're going to see that hands on the TV. Maybe Rosemarie DeWitt, the moment when she puts her hands on the TV and Ghost Maddie puts her hands on the other side of the TV.
Yeah.
I've got kind of a big swing line.
Okay.
I think we might get the line of Kendra commenting about the power lines.
Oh, okay, that's bold. That's bold, though. I like that. So just Kendra saying they're going to give her a tumor or something like that?
Yeah, yes. Because you got to, like, this is a PG-13 movie. You got to appeal to the teenage crowd. There's not a lot of Kendra content in this, so...
No.
You know, you got to hook them somehow.
Yeah. Kendra disappears much like her parents in this movie. Okay, so one last one. What are we thinking?
Well, okay, I've got one specific thing, but I think we need to at least pull one investigator part out.
Okay.
So this is not an investigator thing, but I think Sam Rockwell approaching Maddie in the closet, a moment I actually thought was kind of effective, where she's in the dimension world, maybe she's come out, he rushes up to the closet, she sees her back to her back is to him, she's facing kind of the inside of the closet, crying, crouching, and he reaches for her, and she turns around. She's got this like grotesque, melted looking face. I don't think we'll see her face, but I think we'll see him approach her and recoil from her.
Okay, cool. That seems like a good one. That is a moment I totally forgot about.
What do you think we'll get from the investigators? A little bit of the reality TV. My name is Carrigan Burke, and this house is clean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But I don't know if we're gonna promote on that or if it's
okay.
I think the safer bet is probably like you know what? It's gonna be Cousin Greg from Succession trying to sit down on the chair and the chair getting whipped out. I think that's
damn good one. Yes. Okay. Yep. I think that's great. Okay. I would if you need an extra credit one, giving one of his stories about his scars. That's all I'll throw in there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I've already got 6, which is probably too many. But here we go. All right. PG-13
for all audiences. PG-13.
We didn't know
Spooky skies.
You did the right thing coming here.
Maddie was the first one to notice things.
This is new.
Oh, you play the mystery that you don't know this is the Poltergeist trailer.
Who are you talking to?
When was the
This
last
is like
time you had contact
what they would play at
with her?
Comic-Con.
Before she was taken?
Okay, talking to the paranormal. Oh, and then we get her almost getting sucked into the closet. Now you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
It's a fixture.
You know, it's like, oh, this is it.
Yep.
Very strange.
The Poltergeist trailer.
Happy music. Oh yeah, and it's fun.
You try.
Static hair.
We like this house.
Until something went wrong.
Oh, I hated that. This movie's so loud.
Yeah. Yeah, producer of The Grudge and Evil Dead. Closet opening, Maddie looking into it. Yeah. And now she's in the closet and it's zooming away. Oh,
being John Malkovich moment I forgot about.
Madison! We have to call somebody.
We can't call the cops.
wow, we got
First
can't
things
call the
first.
cops.
Your daughter is here, and she's alive.
Wait, is this Poltergeist movie
This
actually the
development
Exorcist
was built
movie?
on a cemetery.
What if we could do
This
both?
isn't just a few pissed off spirits we're
Oh,
dealing
don't do the
with.
mud.
It's a poltergeist.
Oh, almost.
We just want our daughter
Got
back.
the hands on the TV at least.
And their world could close at any moment. If that happens, there's no getting her back. I want you all to
Okay.
clear your minds.
I think we're doing really bad on this one.
They already
Oh,
know
the
what
clowns!
scares
The
you.
clowns
Fucking, it's
would have made
on
sense.
the poster. Why did we not mention the
Yeah.
clowns?
Yeah, the clown knows, and then clown behind him.
Also, I hated how they changed this. So ineffective.
Okay, Cousin Greg almost getting drilled.
Drill, interesting.
Wow. We missed everything. Oh, no, except
Nope,
this.
here it is.
You got it. Scary girl, let me see your face.
I got one. Oh, that was interesting. The shot they used in the trailer is actually flipped upside down. In the movie, it's inverted.
Oh, yeah,
Because the camera has like flipped upside down, and so they're watching on the monitor an upside down camera, and then she gets torn away. She gets pulled up by her foot upstairs.
Yeah. It's
Interesting.
Yeah, scarier in the trailer, honestly, than it is in the movie. Oh, I was right. This trailer looks like every other horror movie trailer. And it looks. I think it does a good job of conveying what the movie is because it looks pretty choppy and bad.
Yeah. They focus mostly on what little imagery they have in the movie as kind of the series of shots ramping up to the big scare, which was the closet scene. What was our score on that? 0?
It was 1 out of 6. We got Sam Rockwell with Scary Maddie, and I don't know.
And that was the one I was least confident in.
Oh, well, wait, actually, she says
No, we got
here.
hands on the TV.
Yeah, we got hands on the
TV.
Well, it's not her ghost hands from inside the TV with Rosemarie DeWitt.
Yeah.
We've got her sitting at, like, she said they're here, right?
I don't remember that. No.
No, okay, she didn't say, so we didn't get there here. Maybe we can count her in front of the okay, we'll count her in front of the TV, but we don't have Griffin walking down the stairs to
Half
see
a point. We did half points on Operation Fortune. We're gonna do half points here.
Okay, fine. Okay, so then our score is 1.5 out of 6, which I don't love, but
I don't love that either.
Wow, you did such a great job of guessing every single element in the Life or Something Like It trailer, but then you, who supposedly lives on Main Street of Horror Town, just
well,
off
you can
on
see
this one.
why this one didn't get me in the theater. I'm really kicking myself that I didn't get the clown stuff. I mean, it's on the poster.
Yeah, I guess. Also, it's ridiculous that, I don't know, them putting the clown on the poster of this is so dumb. Like, it's not...
Agreed, yeah.
I don't know. It should be a staticky TV screen. That's what everyone associates with the first one.
Well,
I don't know why...
There is a version of it which is that, yeah. But once they were like, we're not playing on the, like, the tease of Poltergeist anymore. It became like, I think the clown was relegated mostly to the home video releases of it. And I'm sure there's in some executive's office, they're like, you know what, the numbers say that we have a 2% sales increase when you put a creepy doll on the cover of something. Just like that weird statistic that's like, if you want to increase your book sales, put a swastika on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
Which is a real statistic. I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but that is a real fucking thing.
You know,
it weirds me out.
I find an evil clown far more comforting than a swastika. Now
Agreed. It's a weird spectrum.
Yes, well, you know, but personally I think that all Nazis are clowns. Boom. There you go. Take that. I think we solved it. I think we fixed society.
We solved fascism, everyone.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Nice.
All right,
the day the clown cried was when I compared them to Nazis, frankly.
Let's see what the machine has in store for us next and get the fuck out of here.
Okay, let me just cue it up here. All right, looks like we're heading to August 23rd, 2002 next.
Okay, it looks like we're going to have to pump some pop music into some headphones while we brush up on our computer programming skills.
Look, that honestly sounds great to me, but if the pop music is from 2002, I don't think I'm going to get a whole lot of coding done, frankly.
It's C++, bitch.
For Landon Solano, I've been Truman Caps.
For Truman Caps, I've been Landon Solano. We'll see you next week, folks.
Movie Memory Machine is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. Join our Patreon at patreon.com/gruntworkpodcast to keep the machine running. Theme song by Porky's Groove Machine. Rate us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. For more information on today's show, visit moviememorymachine.com.